Hey, what's up guys? Sharp Tony here, and today what we're going to do for you is we're going to go through an agent guide. If you haven't known, I've been doing guides on every single profession in the game, every single one, all the time, but not all the time. But how we break this down is we do it in a few sections. I'll give you the overview, we'll go into the skills, we'll go into the weapons options, bang bang, PVM, we'll take a little peek at that PvP, and then we'll go through the overall cost to see the actual cost effectiveness in both PvP and PVM for a particular tune. So let's give you the quick overview. Agents are generally stealth fighters. They like to use rifles and sneak up on their opponents using aim shot. And these nice rifles here, they get incredible concealment and can hide probably to the best in the game. As a matter of fact, they hide the best in the game. They have buffs that also shrink them and give them incredible concealment capabilities. And they use artillery symbionts. They're unique because they do one thing that no profession in this game could do, and that is use a nano called false profession. There's a nano line called the false profession line that will allow them to change into any profession other than keeper or shade, but it has its setbacks. For example, if we take a quick look here, let's see the one for soldier. See, for example, this is mimic profession, which is the highest thing of false profession, the highest quality level of false profession. It does take quite a bit from your nano initiatives, from your actual nanos, and there's a couple other setbacks. But the benefits of being able to do that, coupled with being just an awesome agent, really outweigh the negatives. They could really do some solid PVM damage at lower levels. At higher levels, it kind of tapers off a little bit, and they are amazing at gank PvP. And they could also hold their own pretty well in one-on-one duels and towers. Let's move on to the skills. As an agent, you'll need, your skills differ from other professions because it depends on your needs. You need whatever you want, pretty much, however that sounds. And as always, I'm not really going to go through your abilities. I'm not going to mention complet, first aid, run speed, or your treatment, because those things are a little redundant. Generally, as an agent, not taking cue from what is here, and ignore that completely, you're going to want to max your body dev, because in PvP, agents generally thrive on bigger HP setups, and in PVM, that's one of the only ways you're going to live. Nano pool, you may not necessarily need it to be maxed, but since you false profession, your nanos will have a higher nano cost, so there's some leeway there. There's some gray area with the nano pool. Use your own discretion on that, depending on your false profession. In terms of weapons, you will need your rifle max, because that's the weapon line you will be using pretty much exclusively. That's going to be the best. Agents use rifles, man. You need your aim shot, and at higher levels, fling shot is going to be a viable option as well, because it's going to be on the OFAB weapons, which is great. Now, moving down to nano and aiding, you definitely want, aside from your false professions, what you need just to be an agent, you need Biomet, Scimod, Sense Imp, Time and Space, and MatMet, which is pretty much all of them. Maybe it depends on your false profession, because that is going to be what determines exactly what you need in your skills and what you need out of your gear. And let me get into some more. As we get deeper into the video, I will explain more of what false professions will work for you. But in terms of agent IP, it's generally very, very easy, since you only need to put IP in a couple different weapons options. So let's move on to the weapon options, guys. Let's go over some weapons options now. Agents have only really one weapon line that's going to be effective, which is going to be rifle, but there are a few options in there that are generally cheap. If you're looking for the cheaper route, or you're a froob, you can go with the Yadamuchi sniper rifle. It's a great sniper rifle, generally really cheap and really easy to come by, and the damage is really nice. Or if you want to go a little higher class, you go with the FDA, which doesn't have a 1 for its minimum damage. If you're an agent, you generally want a caterwall, but the Yadamuchi looks good too. The Yadamuchi is just a little slower. Yadamuchi? I don't know. I don't freaking know. Let's call it an X3. The X3 is a little slower. For you paid tunes, you might want to check out the Kerr rifle. And there is also a rifle called the Barrett RO5, and there's an RO6 as well, which is a dyno drop. It drops from quality level 40 to 50, and they tend to be really expensive because they're not common drop, but they're really good if you can get your hands on them. And again, the Kerr rifle is always good. Any Kerr weapon will always subsist you. They do pretty good damage. Or there's always the option of the OFAB Cobra, which is the OFAB's version of the sniper rifle. And the weapon you can get on at level 5 is going to be a Perennium Sniper. It is perennially the easiest thing to get on. And it does the most damage, quickest freaking attack speed, and the other great mod is the add XP, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal, as a matter of fact. And you really could get one. You could get one on at level 1 if you're really, really bored, but you can get one on relatively easily at level 5 since rifle and aim shot buff really, really nicely. Because, you know, it's about that action. And at endgame, you're going to pretty much only want to use an Angst of the Zan or a quality level 300 Cobra. And as always, we have our rich people weapons section. For you, agents, the rich people weapons are going to be the Joy of the Hunt and Joy of the Race. Let's move on to PVM. In PVM, agents are generally really versatile. And why? And that's because of the false professions I've been talking about this whole time. You have a bunch of options you can go with. A lot of people like the false profession into soldier so they can get that nice TMS. Doctor is also a great choice so you can get heals. But to be honest, when I'm soloing, I prefer metaphysicist. You get the attack pet and you get a heal pet, and if you really want, a mez pet, but I don't see the purpose in that too much. But you get, it's like having a teammate with you, or two teammates with you, one crappy healer and one crappy damage dealer. So you could have your cake and eat it too. What does that mean? I don't know. Let's move on. You're not going to really top DD charts. You're generally going to be support. Your damage will be nice, though. You can get decent crits, and your aim shot at high levels will pretty much always hit for 13,000, undoubtedly every 11 seconds. But that really doesn't do enough to keep up with PVM damage that other tunes get, like the Martial Artist or the Shade. Although, it's not bad damage. You're just going to be used as support mostly. A lot of times you're going to be asked to False Profession, Krat for an XP buff, or a Doctor to CH. And that'll be pretty much it. Your damage are reliant on your perks. Your damage is reliant on your perks. A quick aim shot, generally being 11 seconds, which is a cap for the game, and nice crits. OFAB armor is generally pretty nice. Predator armor, another armor that's really good as you're leveling up, and anything that's going to add to your crit and your damage. So you might want to take a look at Shadow Fade armor, which drops from Temple of Three Winds, which is great at low levels. Also, Carb isn't even a bad idea at low levels, though. And as you get to higher levels, reactive armor is really, really nice. Reactive armor is always nice. And you also have the OFAB, as I said before, which is very tasty. You get the aim shot, you get the rifle, and you get that big HP that has a really big HP boost. Agents generally get pretty nice OFAB in most spots. In the legs, they're not very good. And like I said, if you want to go the Carb route, you could do that too, so you get the extra nano. And nano initiatives to kind of offset that crappiness. And don't forget that you can also False Profession to get on pretty much anything you want. Some things are locked. Some things are locked, but some things are not. Like, as you see here, I have a Shroud of Darkest Night on, which an agent can get on. But I'm just trying to give you other options that, you know, you may be speculating. I don't know. Agents have very, very many options for armor. Even Cass is nice, really. But I'd go as a leveling agent. Shadow Fade's not a bad idea, and tier armor, again, not a bad idea because it levels with you. Let's move on to PvP. Talking about some PvP damage, big boy, big time action where you can't play no games. Got to be about that action, about that lifestyle. It's probably the best gank profession in the game. You just wait and hide so nobody knows you're here. They don't know I'm here right now. They can't see me because I have nice concealment. And the False Profession can allow for surprises. You can pick whatever the frick you want. I said that so many times, you should know this by now. That if you just want to surprise, if you want to surprise somebody being a nanotechnician, I have seen it done where a nanotechnician agent beat the crap out of, I don't remember what he was doing, but it was the coolest show of awesomeness I have ever seen. And aim shot is going to be a free cap because before the patch comes out, I don't know if it's going to be out before or after I release this video, aim shot always hits and is generally always a capped hit. So it's like a free cap for you. And often a sneak attack frickin' swap is a good idea. So you get two caps, but sneak attack's not always going to cap. Sneak attack's just always going to hit. And at title level 5, you might find agents to be pretty dang indestructible because they could heal, they could go enforcer, they could go frickin' nanotechnician. I seen it. I'm telling you. I saw it with my own eyes. They could go soldier, which is just a pain in the butt. It's just the options are so there. And lower levels can get on such insanely high quality level weapons for amazing damage. Like this 200 PS here, SPS, you could probably get on at like 76 if you want, with minimal issue. Because what you do is you False Profession Trader, make sure you get a ton of NCU, then you drain, then you get wrangled, and then you drain again, and then you get freaking unexpected attack and take the shot, and boom, you get this weapon on, and it's a freaking joke. It's not even hard. It's not even hard. It's not even hard. But the best weapon you're gonna freaking... I don't even know what I'm saying, so let's move on. Your best armor option is generally going to be mixing CSS, combined sharpshooters, or supple, whatever you want. Or even combined commandos. Again, you'll see that from time to time too. And you'll mix in some OFAB. As I showed you before, the OFAB is really nice, and the HP is really nice for PvP. And especially in these arms, the add nano cost is, or the, you know, the lowering of the nano cost, technically, is very nice. And you could always mix in, like I showed you before, you have the Shroud of the Darkest Night, you mix in those rarities, you could really have a very unique and cool setup of all different types of armor. A Mark of the Fisher King is another really cool item to look on. I had him on here, and I had CSS on here, but this dude lost his privileges because I screwed him up because I didn't give him body development when I twinked him because my friend told me not to. Shout out to Nabstabber. You jerk. And another nice PvP armor option might be DB armor. At higher levels, though. At higher levels. Let's move on to the cost of being an agent. So in regards to the cost of an agent, PVM prices are going to vary depending on what? Your false profession. If you're going to use Shadow Fade, you'll be fine. There are some nice armors you could farm. The tier armor for agents isn't that bad, but it isn't that good either. The OFAB, pieces of it are pretty like the pants. And the boots, I'm not really too fond on either. But you could find some nice stuff just randomly wandering around. PvP armor is very expensive, though. If you want to be a good agent, you're going to find yourself with an expensive setup, unless you do what I did initially when I was in Aatrox, and this was my exact armor setup. It was just complete setup for HP. I had a lot of HP. A lot. Although I should have had 225 OFAB on, but that's not really the point we're trying to make here. I went false profession soldier and just TMS'd. I didn't have very good attack rating, but that aim shot that hit every single time, every 11 seconds, was really what saved my butt. Sometimes, you know, CC or CSS will be needed, but you can use the OFAB, as I just explained to you. I used it. I loved it. Weapons can be farmed too, tediously, or bought for a decent price, like the SPS generally, or Perineum snipers in general aren't going to be too expensive, but you might save a lot of time if you just go farm off of Mortigs and get what you need. It's pretty simple to farm, I will say that, unless you need an exact quality level, and that might be kind of annoying. PvP weapons are... it depends on the weapon. Generally, they're not going to be too expensive. You could farm, you know, your OFAB Cobra and use that in PvP or PVM. It really depends. You have your options here, and that's what I'm trying to stress. And in general, Shades, freaking Shade just walked by. I apologize. So agents are not going to be too pricey unless you really want to push the boundary. They aren't going to be that difficult to level either, but you're really not going to be a team's first choice once you get to higher levels. You're really not. If it's a choice between like an engineer and an agent, they're just not even going to look at you. I hate to say it. Unless you really bring something cool to the table. But there you go. There's the agent, as in-depth as we can go. I hope you liked it. And let's go to the what? To the what? To the what? To the windows? To the walls? To the outro. Goodbye.